Hello everybody, Chris with Night of Living Card Games back again, this time to finally play Arkham. So this is Brethren of Ash, the new mini-campaign that came with the second chapter of the new core set. I built the decks a while ago, but due to life and family things and work and yada yada yada, I haven't actually had a chance to play the game yet. So finally have it out on the table, ready to play it. So we're going to do it. So I got Izzie over here, Joe over here. Got the initial setup. I've got the bag and everything set up. So let's take a look here. What does it say? Scenario 1, Spreading Flames. Strange things are afoot in the city of Arkham. A recent spate of fires and grisly accidents have the entire city on edge. While the Arkham Advertiser has offered a few flimsy explanations, you and your associates are not so sure. Robed figures have been sighted near these odd happenings, and your mutual friend is convinced that they are to blame. You agree to meet at your friend's dormitory at Miskatonic University to try to get to the bottom of things. However, when you arrive, your friend's room is empty, and the dormitories are strangely quiet. All right, before I do the hand setup, let's take a look here at the agenda. Agenda 1A, past curfew. The campus is strangely quiet, and there is no sign of your friend. Hooded figures cross the quad as nervous students scurry under painfully bright street lamps. Has an action on it, parlay, test intellect 2. If you succeed, discard a bystander enemy at your location. Has a doom threshold of 3. Act 1A, where there's smoke. You are searching the dormitories for any sign of your friend. Objective. At the end of the round, the investigators may spend the requisite clues as a group to advance. Right. Let's do some opening hand and mulliganing. Let's look at Izzie. We got a look what I found. Unexpected courage. Cosmic flame. Timely intervention and a band-aid. Okay, we're going to keep cosmic flame. Let's see, what's timely and after? Okay. I'll keep timely and unexpected courage. I'm gonna mulligan the last two, which I get a manual dexterity and a guts. Okay. Alright, so at least I got damage on there, so hopefully Joe will be able to handle the cloovering until such time as Izzie can get her kit out. Alright, let's see what Joe gets. We have a fingerprint kit, Dorothy Simmons, machete, mag glass, and another mag glass. I'm going to mulligan the fingerprint kit, because with only 2 people, hopefully I'll be able to stay up on the clues. And we get a vicious blow. Okay, that could be good. All right, so Joe is pretty well set up. He's going to have his cloovering, and he's got a machete that he can use, so that's handy. So let's see here. We're starting at your friend's room. Your friend's room is in utter disarray, but are they signs of a weary mind or some kind of struggle? So, your friend's room revealed is a 2 shroud, 2 per investigator threshold. So there's all the clues we need to advance. And it has an action to choose an enemy at a connecting location. That enemy moves into this location and engages you. This does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay. Okay, well, that is that. So let's get ourselves going here, shall we? All right, first action for Izzie. She is going to spend 3 to get Cosmic Flame down. Cosmic Flame is the new damage spell to start with. 3 cost asset, has 3 charges on it. And it says fight using willpower. If you succeed, you may spend 1 charge to deal +1 damage for this attack. If you reveal a skull token during this test, remove 1 charge from Cosmic Flame. If you cannot, take 1 damage and discard this card. The nice thing is it stays on there as opposed to, was it, not withering, shoot, I'm drawing a blank on what the original core set attack spell was, that it was when you run out of charges, it's worthless to you. So this one at least still gives you an opportunity to fight. You just can't do extra damage. All right, so that is action 1. Action 2. I'm going to actually draw a card here. It's a guts. Action 3. Let's try to investigate here. I'm only even, but let's see what happens. That is a -1. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That is a -4. I got to get new coin capsules for this. It's getting a little hard to read the center there. -4, so I fail spectacularly. All right, so that is it for Izzie. Play, draw, investigate. So Joe, for a fast action, he's going to pull out his magnifying glass. Action 1, I'll spend 3 to get Dorothy out. Action 2, then I will investigate here. So I am a 4, 5, 6 versus 2. So I am up by 4. Ooh, Elder Thing. What does Elder Thing do? -3. If you fail by 2 or more, draw the topmost copy of Fire in the encounter discard pile, if able. So I was a 5, 6 versus 2. That is a 3 versus 2, so I succeed still. I get a clue, and because I succeeded by 1 or 3 exactly, I will exhaust her and get a resource. Right. Action 3, I will investigate again. Up by 4. +1, so I succeed. All right, Joe Diamond is done. Investigator phase is done. Enemy phase, no enemies, so we move on to upkeep. All right, Izzie's card is a meat cleaver. Gain a resource. Joe's card is another copy of Dorothy. And a resource. Right, first Doom. Doom 1 out of 3 encounter card. First for Izzie, we have Unspeakable Truths. Put it into play in your threat area. Limit 1 per investigator. The first time you discover 1 or more clues, take a horror. Double action to discard it. Well, at the moment, that's not coming into play very much for her. Right, Joe gets extra planar visions. Test will or investigate X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. If you fail, take 1 damage and discard 1 card at random from your hand. Well, darn. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, well, I'm going to be testing investigate, so I'm a 4, 5 with Dorothy. I can't use magnifying glass for the +1 because I'm not investigating, so I'm only up 1. That is a -2, so I fail. So I take 1 damage. And discard 1 card at random. The machete is the one I really want to keep. Let's see if it is the one I draw. No, it is magnifying glass. That's okay. All right. Let's have Joe go first. Let's see if he can get those 2 clues. So first action, investigate. Again, 6 versus 2, up by 4. A skull. Skull is -X, where X is the current act number. So it is just 1. So I was up by 4, -1. That is 3, up by 3. So I succeed by 3. That gives me a clue, and Dorothy gives me a money. Right, second action, we'll investigate here again. 6 against 2 again. Skull again. So I succeed to get the last clue. And I cannot advance until the end of the round. So I am going to spend 3 to get my machete out. All right. Isabel's turn. Let me check one thing real quick. So I guess action 1 and 2, I'm just gonna pitch that. And action 3, let's get the meat cleaver down. 1, 2, 3. All right, that is it for Izzie. So, end of the investigator phase. Enemies, nothing. Upkeep. Izzie draws a jumpsuit and gains a resource. Joe draws a card and gets an M1911. All right, and gains a resource. Right, it is now the end of the round, so I am going to choose to spend all 4 of those clues to advance the act. So Act 1A. Act 1B. There's fire. You find your friend's satchel scorched with a stylized emblem of an open palm. Wherever your friend is, you imagine they didn't go willingly. As you turn to leave, you are confronted by a masked figure wreathed in flame. As the room erupts into flames around you, they let out a chilling wail. Discard each enemy in play. There are none. Put the set-aside dormitories and Miskatonic Quad locations into play. Okay. Dormitories we'll put there. Move that down a little bit. Miskatonic Quad I'll put there because that... I'll put the dormitories over here. The quad looks like it... connects to a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so that's that. Spawn the set-aside Servant of Flame enemy at the dormitories. So Servant of Flame is a 4-fight, 5 per investigator damage, so 10 hit points, and 4 evade. And it is a hunter. Its prey is the lowest evade, which is Joe, and it has retaliate. Oof. That's rough. That's rough, buddy. Let's see here. Attach 1 set-aside copy of Fire to your friend's room. Place each other set-aside copy of Fire in the discard encounter pile. So let's see here. Fire is a hazard. Revelation, attach fire to the nearest location without fire attached. Forced when the investigation phase ends. Each non-elite card with health at this location takes 1 direct damage, so we're slowly burning to death. And then you can test Evade 3. If you succeed, you can discard a fire. Okay. Let me shuffle these in to the old encounter deck. We're moving on to Act 2A. Let me get Act 2A here. Escape the dorms. A burning apparition stands between you and the exit. You must escape the dormitories. If each undefeated investigator is at Miskatonic Quad, advance. Hint, sometimes it's better to run than to fight. Actually, I need to take a look at something because I bet I made a mistake here. That is a spade. Yep. Yeah, that was my fear, is that the quad is not connected to my friend's room. So we're going to change things up here. We'll put Izzie and Joe over here. We got to go through the dormitories to get to the quad. That is unfortunate. Okay, because that is going to be a big, beefy boy. Yep. All right, well, we still have to do bad things, though. We get a second doom, so we're at 2 out of 3. We get encounter cards. First for Izzie, we get a Cantor of Flames, 2 cost, 2 fight, 2 health, 2 evade with retaliate a human, and a cultist. Okay, and then Joe accidentally spreads the fire to, I guess, the dormitories. All right, Joe is not going to be able to evade that guy, is he? Not on your life. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Izzie, first action. We are going to attack the Captive of Flame. We are going to use Cosmic Flame to do that. So I would be up 2, and I know there's -4s in the bag, so I'm going to commit a guts to it. So 6 versus 2. 0, I succeed. I will spend a charge off this to do 2 damage. And that allows me to draw a card. That is Soul Link. Second action, we're going to come over here, which engages this guy. We are going to attempt to evade him on our third action using manual dexterity. So I am a 5 versus a 3. Or 5 versus a 4. Can't add tonight. 5 versus 4, so only up 1. Skull, where it is -X, where X is the act number, we are now on act 2. So I'm down by 1. I'm failing by 1. I guess I'm going to commit Timely Intervention. So Timely Intervention is a skill card with willpower, evade, and a wild icon. It says you may commit Timely Intervention from your hand after revealing chaos tokens during a skill test you are performing. So with that, I succeed. So he is exhausted. And because I succeeded, manual dexterity draws me a card into a second sight. And that was fight, move, evade. That is it for me. All right. Oh, I forgot to actually flip this over first. So let's see here. The dormitories. Miskatonic. Recently renovated, the dormitories boast some of the best modern conveniences, including air conditioning, flush toilets, and a communal icebox. Right. It is a 3 shroud, 1 per investigator clue, and it says heal 1 damage and 1 horror, limit once per game. That could come in handy. All right, so we are going to have Joe come in. Do I have him do a damage just to get those clues? Because I assume we're going to need clues later. So, you know what? I am. So we're in. We are going to investigate. I am a 6 versus a 3. So up by 3. That is -4, so I fail. So third action. Do it again. Up by 3. I succeed by 0. So I get a clue. All right, got to shake that bag up, make sure that's... So Joe is done. All right. So investigator are done, so the investigator phase ends. Each non-elite card with health. Oh, shoot. I forgot. Dorothy would take the damage too, so I guess we're just going to suck it up and say we didn't do that. So that was 1, 2. And we're going to head to the quad. The quad is the central crossroads of Miskatonic University. It is 1 shroud, 0 clues, and has an reaction during your turn. If there are exactly 1 or 2 investigators in this game, move to a connecting location. Okay, so I'll be able to use that, which is nice. No clues here, so third action. Live by the adage of never draw with your last action, so we'll just take a money. Okay, so now the investigator phase is done, which means fire triggers on Izzie. I take a point of damage there. Right, enemy phase, he's exhausted so nothing happens. And now we go to upkeep. This guy readies and engages Izzie. Izzie draws Jim Carter, nice. And gets some money. Joe draws of his fedora and gets some money. All right, end of the round, start of the next one. So we are getting the third Doom on Agenda 1A, so Agenda 1A pops. The wind carries the scent of smoke from across campus. A plume of flame rises from a nearby building. In player order, each investigator tests Willpower 3, and each investigator who fails takes 1 horror. Right, so Izzie, as lead investigator, will do first. She starts with, she gets a plus, she is up by 1. As a skull, that is a -2, so I fail with her. Jim is down 1, so very unlikely. He fails with a -1, so he also takes a horror. All right. Let's look at Agenda 2A. Lit up. This party is lit. The sky glows a faint orange as the flames spread. There's a 5 Doom threshold and still has the same parlay action. Test Investigate 2. If you succeed, discard a bystander enemy at your location. Right. Encounter cards. Izzie gets Cosmic Evils. There's a peril. I must either place 1 Doom on the current agenda. It's basically Ancient Evils, or I can take 1 direct damage and 1 direct horror, and it gains Surge. Let me just make sure I don't have... No, I do not have Ward of Protection in my hand. So we are going to put 1 Doom on it, because I don't want to surge into more cards. Not to mention I don't want to take more damage and horror. Right, and Joe gets an enemy, a Hellhound. It is a 2 fight, 3 damage, 4 evade, hunter enemy with forced. After he attacks you during the enemy phase, choose and discard 1 asset you control. Okay, well. So if I can get Izzie just in here, then that pops that agenda. So do I think I'm just going to try to evade this guy and move out. And then we'll see what happens. All right, so Izzie has a fast action ability. During a skill test you are performing, take 1 direct horror and commit an eligible skill card from your discard pile to this test. And then after this test resolves, shuffle the card into your deck. All right, so I will take 1 horror to commit manual dexterity from my discard pile. And I will also pitch an unexpected courage. So I'm a 7 versus a 4. No, actually, I'm not going to commit manual dexterity. I'm going to commit timely intervention, because this is more useful to shuffle in and get back into my hand, because its special ability only happens from my hand. All right, so I'm still up 7 to 4. Skull, where is mine is X, where it's the is the act number, right? Yes, it is the act number. So we are still in Act 2, so I succeed. So he is exhausted. So unexpected courage goes into my discard pile, and timely intervention gets shuffled into my deck. Right. Second action, I will move over here, which triggers this objective. If each undefeated investigator is at Miskatonic Quad, advance. It is not saying that you have to wait till the end of the turn, so it is just as soon as we're all there, it happens. So, Act 2B, in the open. You emerge from the dormitories, lungs bursting, into the crisp autumn evening. Looking behind you, there is no trace of your pursuer. You remember your friend planned to consult Miskatonic University's head librarian, Dr. Henry Armitage. He may be able to help you understand what is going on. Search all in-play and out-of-play areas for the Servant of Flame, heal all damage from them, and set them aside out of play. Okay. Goodbye. Discard each enemy in play. Perfect. Discard all tokens and attachment from your friend's room and remove it from the game. Alrighty. Put each remaining set aside location into play. Okay. Where are the other locations? Here we go. So we've got the Science Hall. So we'll move this dormitory over here. We'll put the Miskatonic Quad over here. We've got the Science Hall. It's connected. Warren Observatory is connected to the quad. And the Orne Library, which is connected to the quad. Okay, so that is that. So let's take a look at Act 3A, which means skulls are now -3. Searching for Dr. Armitage. Your friend had mentioned visiting the head librarian, Dr. Henry Armitage. With more and more strange figures arriving, you must scour the campus for his whereabouts. Objective, at the end of the round, investigator at Orne Library may spend the requisite clues as a group to advance. And it's 3 clues per investigator, so we need 6 clues, which means I'm going to go out on a limb and say each of these locations has 1 clue per investigator on it, so you have to visit all 3 of them. But we'll find out. All right, so that was 1 to evade, 2 to move over, action 3 for Izzie. I think I'm actually going to get a money because I got 2 big cards in my hand. I would love to get Jim Culver out since he gives me willpower, but I also have my investigate spell in my hand also that costs 4. So we'll say Izzie is done. All right, Joe doesn't have to worry about that hellhound any longer, which is nice. So first action, let's go up to the Science Hall. So the Science Hall. The construction of the West Memorial Science Hall at the northern end of campus is confusing, to say the least. However, students nevertheless are more than happy for the modern facilities and state-of-the-art science equipment. All right, looking at its flip side, it is 2 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. What a shock. Forced, after you discover 1 or more clues at Science Hall, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Well, that's rude. All right, well, looks like I'll be pitching some cards for my hand here. All right, so second action, I will investigate here. I am a 6 versus a 2, so I'm up by 4. -3, so I do succeed by exactly 1. So Dorothy will give me a money. I discover a clue, which means I have to discard a card from my hand. I will choose to discard my other copy of Dorothy Simmons. Third action, I will do it again. Elder Sign, nice. So I do succeed. The Elder Sign is, if you succeed, draw 1 card and gain 1 resource. So let's see what I draw. Oh, my weakness, brilliant. Let's see here. My weakness is called Dead Ends. It is a 5-cost event. When you search your deck and Dead End is among them, draw it. I wasn't searching, so that doesn't matter. Forced, when this game ends or you are eliminated, if this card is in your hand, you earn 2 fewer experience. So I do draw it, and I do get a resource. So that. Unfortunately, I can't choose and discard a weakness from my hand, but I do have to discard something. I am going to choose to get rid of my 1911. See if that comes back to bite me. So it's move, investigate, investigate. Done. Right, enemy phase, they've all been taken care of. So now we're on refresh. Izzie draws a card and gets look what I found. Very nice. And gains some money. Joe draws a card and gets unexpected courage and gains some money. Here, we're going to clean up a little bit so we'll be at 7 that way. All right. We get 2 out of 5 Doom on the clock. Encounter cards. First encounter card, Izzie. We get Cosmic Events again. Oof. Ooh. I'm going to take my chances, I guess. I'm going to take the damage and horror and let this thing surge. Surges into Wild Compulsion. Test Willpower 3. For each point you fail by, you must either discard 1 card at random from your hand or lose a resource. So I'm currently only a 1 up, so I'm going to commit guts to it to be 3 up. -4. So I failed by 1. So I either have to discard 1 card at random from my hand or lose a resource. I guess I'm going to lose a resource. Because I do not want to do the random card thing. Right. And now Joe gets an enemy mutated experiment. 3/3/3, and when it is defeated, each investigator at that location takes a horror. All right, let us start with Izzie. We'll go up to the observatory. Warren Observatory. A generous grant from Tillinghast Endeavors has allowed the university to bring the Story Observatory back, bigger and better than ever. So Warren Observatory is a 3 shroud, 1 per investigator clue, and then after you discover 1 or more clues at this location, draw 1 card, limit once per round. All right. Well, I was hoping this one would only be a 2 shroud. All right, so that was first action. Second action, I guess we will investigate here. So I'm down by 1. Let's try it just down by 1. -3. Ugh. If you fail by 2 or more, draw the topmost copy of Fire in the encounter deck. So I am a 0. Oh, man. And there is a copy of Fire here. All right. So I am at 2 out of 5 damage. Izzie is kind of squishy, so I don't even know if it makes sense. I obviously will need the clues, but I don't know if it makes sense for me to go try to get him here. I don't think so. So I think third action, we're just going to get the heck out of here. Oh, that was actually a free action to do that. I forgot. Because there's only 1 or 2 investigators. Group limit once per round. So Izzie did it to move up there. Investigated, failed. So that's second action. So that was the first action. So second action, let's try it again. Down by 1. Yeah, down by 1. -1. So I failed by 2. I'm going to spend 2 resources to play Look What I Found. Fast. Play when you fail a skill test by 2 or less While investigating, discover 2 clues at your location. Perfect. All right, that was action 2. So action 3, I will move the heck back down here. All right, so the observatory is on fire, but we got all the clues off it. That's the important part. All right, so Joe has got a mutated experiment in front of him, so he is going to attack him with his machete. So machete gives you a +1 for this attack, and if it's the only enemy engaged with you, you can exhaust it to do +1 damage. It's a little bit of change from the original machete. Machete was just always a +1. If it was the only enemy, you didn't have to exhaust it. So, all right. So I am a 5 versus a 3. Skull, -3. I fail. Action 2. Do it again. -2. I succeed. Let's exhaust this to get 2 damage on him. Action 3. We will swing again. 5 versus 3. Up by 2. -1. I succeed. He has been defeated. Alas, that was all 3 actions, so I can't move, though. Oh, and when he is defeated, everybody at that location takes a horror. So we're at 2 out of 7 horror. All right. Investigator phase is done. Nobody is at a location with fire, so nobody takes damage. Enemy phase. No enemies in play. Upkeep. All right. Izzie draws a card. It is Timely Intervention. That's a handy card. Joe draws Working a Hunch. Also very handy. And a clue. All right, so just quick recap. Izzie Barnes currently has 2 resources, 2 clues, has 3 remaining health, 6 remaining sanity. And in my hand is a Jim Culver, a Soul Link, a Jumpsuit, a Second Sight, and a Timely Intervention. Joe Diamond has 8 resources, 2 clues, 6 remaining health, 5 remaining sanity, and has got a Fedora, a Vicious Blow, his weakness, Dead Ends, and Unexpected Courage, and Working a Hunch. Right, Mythos phase. 3 out of 5, and now encounter cards. Izzie gets Fire. Fire is spreading. Honestly, it's just following Izzie around. I wonder if she's an arsonist. And Joe gets Another Enemy. Great. Ugh. That is unfortunate. All right, what we are going to do, we're going to do this group limit once per round, free action to move up here. We are going to attack that thing with Cosmic Flame, I think. Yeah, we will do Cosmic Flame. So attacking for, so that is a 4 versus a 3. Can't say I really like that. We are going to take a horror. To commit Guts from my discard pile. So that is 4, 5, 6 versus 3. So I'm up by a 3. Elder Thing is a -3. I didn't fail. I succeeded. So I will take a charge. Actually, I won't take a charge off. Just do 1 damage. I get to draw a card, which is another Meat Cleaver, and then this gets shuffled into my deck. Okay, and then action 2, and so that was free action, move up here. Action 1, attack him. Action 2, Action 3. I'm going to come over to the Orn Library. Orn Library. To take every precaution since the flood, the Orn librarians have cleared out the basement archives and worked to waterproof the building. Orn Library is a 4-shroud, 1 per investigator location, and has a double action, draw 3 cards, limit once per game. Okay. Nope, those are the wrong tokens. Let's get the clues out there instead. All right. So that was that. So Joe Diamond's turn. Joe Diamond, action 1, is going to attack with his machete, committing unexpected courage. So he is a 6, 7, or he is a 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 3. So he is a 4 versus, or he is up by 4. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Second action. We are going to do that again. I don't have any. I don't want to commit vicious blow. Shoot. Only up 2. We're gonna have to try it. +1. Okay. So I succeed. I will exhaust the machete to do 2 damage, which defeats the mutated experiment. I take a horror from that. And then my last action will be to move down here to the quad. That's all I can do because I used that already this turn. Disappointing. Okay, that is the end of the investigator phase. Because I am at a place with fire, I take a direct damage, and unfortunately, Dorothy is eliminated. Right, upkeep. No enemies, so upkeep. Draw a card. It is a weakness. Pursued. Put it into your threat area. After an enemy enters your location, moves into or spawns, take a horror. Double action to get rid of it. Gain a resource. Joe gets another 1911 and another money. All right. Witching Hour of Agenda 2. We are at 4 out of 5. And encounter cards. We get Mutated. Test Will 2 and gets +2 difficulty if there is an enemy at your location. Nope. If you fail, you must either take 2 damage or each investigator at your location takes 1 horror. All right, so I am up 2. I can live with that. Up 2. Zero, I succeed. All right, Joe Diamond, on the other hand, gets a bystander. So bystander is a 1/1/1, but he is doomed. So when this enemy is defeated, place 1 doom on the current agenda, and it can cause the current agenda to advance. They're always in the exact wrong place at the exact wrong time. Okay, but we do have the action here to test Book 2, and if you succeed, discard a bystander at your location. All right, so we'll have Joe go first. He will do that book test, so 2. So he is a 4 versus a 2. Up by 2. That is a -3, so that won't work. Action 2. Try it again. 0, so that succeeds, so that just discards you. We will do the fast action to move over here. So Joe still has 1 action left. Ooh, I am just up 1 there. Ha ha ha. Let's try it. Up by 1. Do I have any icons? Actually, I'm going to spend 2 to working a hunch. It's a fast action, so it's not even action. I just get a clue. That's nice. And then my third action. My third action, let's just do, we're going to spend 3, 4, 5. Let's just get rid of dead ends out of my hand right now. We can worry about that clue next turn. All right. Izzie, I will spend 2 to get rid of pursued, so that is 2 actions. And then let us... There's no point in trying to get this clue. I don't think the old-fashioned way. I would only be up 1 if I tried that. So I've still got 5. Yeah, we're gonna gain a money. We're just gonna gain a money. That's fine. And then do that. Okay. Investigator phase done. Nobody's in a fiery location, so we're good there. So yeah, if I would have gotten the clues off of this on the way out, then we wouldn't have to deal with Force Shroud, but that's okay. Enemies, no enemies. Upkeep. Ready. Izzie gets a Ward of Protection. Nice. And a money. Joe gets a fingerprint kit. And a money. Alright, well, we pop this Doom. Agenda 2B, Uncontrollable Fire. Cinders fly through the air above Miskatonic University. The wail of a fire alarm resounds across the quad as dozens of frightened students flee the scene. If there are still set aside, place 4 set-aside copies of Fire in the encounter discard pile. There aren't any set-aside copies. In player order, each investigator tests Evade 3. For each investigator who fails, take 1 damage. Ouch. Do I want to go down to 2 damage with Izzie? I don't think I do. But we'll try it. I'm going to hold on to Timely Intervention here. So I am even. -1. I will play Timely Intervention so I can commit it from my hand after the Chaos tokens are there. So I do succeed. All right. Let's see here. And you are down by 1. That's just a damage. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm down by 1. -1. I fail. I take a damage. All right. On to Agenda 3A. Wild Flames. The campus is ablaze. Still has the same action for Parlay, test Book 2 to discard a bystander, and Forced. After the Doom is placed on this agenda, the lead investigator draws the topmost copy of Fire in the encounter discard pile, which I don't think there are any right now. No, there are not. Because, let me double check to make sure that I didn't do anything wrong. Oh no, the other copies of Fire go into the discard pile. Whoops. Well, let me correct that. So kind of messed up. So I guess there shouldn't have been as much Fire as there was, but oh well. C'est la vie. As the saying goes, RTFC. And I did not. All right, so that's that. So now we're on to encounter cards. Izzie gets an Innocent Bystander. Joe gets a Forbidden Secrets. If you have no clues, that's not true. Otherwise, investigate 3. For each point you fail by, either place 1 of your clues on your location or take a horror. Ooh, that's rough. I'm going to commit Fingerprint Kit on that to be 2 up. And I think Izzie's going to commit her second sight to be to make him 3 up, because that would be unpleasant to say the least. Hey, Joe's getting lucky tonight. All right, so he succeeds, so this doesn't matter. All right, these get discarded. Joe gets to draw 1 card, which is Sharp Rhetoric, and gain a resource. All right, so first action. Is this at the end of the round? At the end of the round, okay. Yeah, we are going to, first we're going to spend 2 to get Sharp Rhetoric down. Sharp Rhetoric, as a fast action, I can spend a resource to get +1 Investigate or Willpower to a skill test, or +2 if it's an Investigate or Parlay test. Second action, I'm going to investigate here. I'm going to spend 1 resource for Sharp Rhetoric. So I'm a 4, 5, 6, 7 because this is an investigate test. That is a -1, so we succeed. All right, so that was action 2. Action 3, let's try to parlay with this investigator, with this bystander. So I am a 4 versus a 2. -1, I succeed, you get discarded. All right, Izzie's turn. We are going to spend 4 to get Jim Culver out. So Jim Culver, 4-cost ally. I get +1 willpower, and as a reaction, after I take damage or horror, I can exhaust Jim to draw 1 card. Okay. I'm gonna tempt fate here. I'm going to do this double action. So draw 3 cards. I got a Guts, a Level-Headed, and a Manual Dexterity. Okay. So that was 1 to play Jim, 2, 3 to draw the cards. Right, that is... So remember, that is the investigator phase. Enemy phase, no enemies out there. Upkeep. Izzie draws a card, and it is bandages. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Izzie's hand. So she is at her hand size right now. Gains a resource. Joe draws a card into Detective's Intuition and gains a resource. All right, it is now the end of the round, so we are going to choose to spend the 6 clues. 2, 3, 4 from Joe. 2 from Izzie. To advance. Act 3B, The Servant Unleashed. You find Dr. Armitage barricaded in one of Orn's library's lecture halls. Some on the campus have been acting strange lately, your friends among them. But all of that can wait. We must confront your pursuer and stop them before the entire campus burns, Dr. Armitage says. Put the set-aside Dr. Henry Armitage story asset into play under any investigator's control. He does not take up any ally slot for this scenario. Here he is. So Dr. Henry Armitage. You get +1 willpower and +1 investigate. And the first action you perform each round does not provoke attacks of opportunity. I think we will give him to Izzie, and he's a 3/3. So also really good soak. Let's see here. Put the set-aside Servant of Flame enemy into play at Miskatonic Quad. Place 3 per investigator clues at Miskatonic Quad, which also has a fire on it at the moment. I don't think it's supposed to, but, you know, hey, I got to deal with it now. So 6 clues. 2 and 3. All right. The lead investigator must search the encounter deck and discard pile for 1 copy of fire and draw them. All right. Well, we know that. So we got this location is now on fire. All right, so now we are on to agenda or Act 4A, Blaze of Glory. Your fiery nemesis can't be allowed to hurt more innocents. With Dr. Armitage's help, perhaps you can stop them. We can spend 2 clues as a group to deal 2 damage to an enemy at your location, or as an action, you flee the burning campus, you resign. And then objective, if the Servant of Flame is defeated, advance. All right. Okay. So that was that. That's the end of the round. So we got to go start of next round. We get a there, and we draw a copy of fire. So now everything's on fire. And now we get encounter cards. Izzie gets a Cantor of Flame, 2/2/2 with Retaliate. Joe Diamond gets extra planar visions, test willpower or investigate X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I am even right now. And then if you fail, you just take a damage and discard 1 card at random from your hand. -1. I fail. So I take a damage, discard 1 card at random from my hand. I discard... Oh, shoot. That's the one that I wanted to keep. My Detective's Intuition. It would have healed me up and given me some money. Oh, well. Okay. So I got to do 10 damage to him. Let's see. Izzie's ability is... It is a direct horror. So, okay. All right, so Joe's going to have to go first because he's going to have to engage that guy so that Izzie can get rid of the fire, because we got to be able to clear that out. So can Joe take 2 and 2 this turn? That would put him at 6 and 5, so he can take 1 turn of that, but he'll be 1 away from death at that point. Not ideal, that's for sure. Izzie is more likely because she's got the soak out now. So that might be what we do. That might be what we have to do. So if we attack and kill him, move over, and then engage him, and if we exhaust him... Okay, I got a plan. All right. So we are going to attack the Cantor of Flame. I will attack with the Meat Cleaver. So that puts me at a 4 versus a 2. And I will pitch this jumpsuit to be a 5 versus a 2. So up by 3. -2. I succeed. Oh, well, I wanted to do this. Sorry, I did. I was taking a horror to trigger this ability that defeats him. And so I took a horror. So I'm going to exhaust Jim to draw a card. Emergency cash. And then because I defeated an enemy, I can heal a horror. So that goes there. All right, so action 1. Action 2, I'm over here. And I'm there. So during a skill test, you are performing. Okay. I'm going to attempt to evade the Servant of Flame. I'm going to take a horror to commit timely intervention from my discard pile. And we will, so that is 3, 4, 5. 5 versus 4. Don't like those odds. So we'll also do a manual dexterity. So that is a 7 versus a 4. -2. I succeed. Oh yeah, I was going to actually hold that manual dexterity to help Joe, but that's okay. All right, so I succeed. This goes in my discard pile. This will get shuffled in, but I get to draw a card. It is another timely intervention. Isn't that handy? All right, so that was attack, move, evade. I am done. Joe Diamond will move in. He is going to do this test. So he is a 2 versus a 3. I will commit a 1911 to be a 3 versus a 3. Yeah, we're just going to try it. 3 versus 3. And I've got timely intervention here, so hopefully I can just succeed here. That is a -1. Okay, so I fail by 1. Izzie plays timely intervention because it doesn't say... Oh, no, it is you are performing. Oh, shoot. Well, then I would have committed... honestly, I would have committed Soul Link, and I need to take a horror to do that, so that would have been 3 icons. That would have been enough to do it. All right, so fire. We've got fire taken care of for 1 turn. Okay, so 1, 2, and then third action. Let's investigate here. Yeah, let's investigate here. So 4, 5 versus a 1, -4, I think we are now. Yep. But I was a 5 versus a 1, so I do succeed, so I get a clue. So move, test, investigate. All right, that is it. Enemy phase, they are exhausted. Upkeep. Izzie will take this guy back. Already. Draw a card. We get another Soul Link. And a money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Joe draws a card for the right tool for the, gets the top right tool for the job. That's not going to help me a lot. And a money. All right. I need to step away real quick. I will be right back. You'll never notice it on the video. All right, I'm back. Through the magic of video editing, you didn't realize it's been 2 days. That step away took a little bit longer than I anticipated. But we're back, and let's see if we can get this thing wrapped up. All right, so we are at 2 Doom of 10, and it does say, after Doom is placed on the agenda, go get a copy of Fire from the discard pile and put it into play. Dun, dun, dun. Where is my Fire? Oh, come on. I know I got at least one Fire in here someplace. I gotta have one Fire, right? I cleared one out. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be 5 of them in there. Oh, there it is. I specifically put it out of the discard pile so it would be easier for me to grab. So this location is once again on fire. All right, now we get encounter cards. Izzie gets Wild Compulsion. Test willpower 3 for each point you fail by. Either discard 1 card at random from your hand or lose a resource. So I am up 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 3. Whew, -3. I succeed. Right, Joe gets a bystander. All right. So let's see here. So I got to pump 10 damage into Servant of the Flame. How much can I do? So I could potentially do 4 here. Maybe a 5th. Maybe 6 here. Now, because the bystander, I can't do that. So let's see here. What are my options? I do have Vicious Blow, though. That's nice. Level-headed. Ward of Protection. I should remember that I've got a Ward of Protection in my hand someday. All right, so if I stay here and just wail on him, I will take everything that can take a damage will take a damage. So that's these two, nothing in Joe's. But Izzie would be at 3 of 5, so she wouldn't be able to take a hit. Joe would be at 5 of 7, so he wouldn't be able to take a hit. So I think I need to try to evade him. I think there's no way around it. All right, so Izzie is going to evade. She is going to take a horror and put it on Dr. Henry Armitage to commit Soul Link. So that puts me at 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 4, and I have a timely intervention in my hand. -1, I succeed. So he is evaded. All right, I think I'm going to ignore the fire, and we are going to attack with Cosmic Flame. So that puts me at a 4, 5, 6 versus a 4, 2 up. I will commit Guts this time to be 4 up. -3, I succeed. I will take off a charge to do 2 damage to him. Oops. 2 damage. Right. Third action, I will... Oh, and I get to draw a card. It draws into another gem. So I will fight again with Cosmic Flame. I will commit... Let's commit a Meat Cleaver. So I am 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, first action doesn't perform attacks of opportunity. I'll have to remember that. So 7 versus 4. skull, which is minus X, where X is the current act number. And we are at Act 4. So that is a -4. So it was a 4, 5, 6, 7. -4 is a 3. So I fail, but I'm going to commit timely intervention after the token was revealed. So I am +2 there. So I do succeed. And I will spend my last charge off a Cosmic Flame to do 2 more damage. So we are at 4 out of 10. And that is it for Izzie. All right. Joe Diamond is going to try to do the parlay test. I am a 4. 4 versus a 2, I think it is. Let me just remember. Yes, 4 versus 2. So I'm only up 2. I will spend 1 for Sharp Rhetoric. So I am a 5 versus a 2. And I will commit Right Tool for the Job to be a 6 versus a 2. -2. I succeed, so he is discarded. All right, that was first action. All right, second action. We are going to engage the exhausted Servant of Flame. And then third action, we are going to attack. So I'm a 4, 5. I'm a 4, 5. Just a 5 versus a 4. I'm only 1 up. Let's try it. Vicious Blow. I'll be a 2 up. So 4, 5, 6 versus a 4. 0. So I succeed, and I do 2 damage because he is the only enemy engaged with me. So I will exhaust to do that. And then Vicious Blow gives me an extra damage. So that is 3 damage on that attack. So we are at 7 out of 9. Or 7 out of 10. Right, so that was Parlay, Engage, Fight. So Joe Diamond is done. Investigator phase is done. Fire triggers, so everything at this location that can take a damage takes a damage. Right, enemy phase, nothing there. Upkeep. Ready up. Ready the Servant of Flame. Draw a card. Izzie gets... our weakness. Breaking point. Take 1 direct damage. Uh-oh. I think Izzie is defeated. How did this end up? I thought I drew this already. All right, well, I take 1 direct damage. Oh, hang on a second. Can I do this? Is this a treachery card? Yes. Oh, non-weakness treachery card. No. Of course, that doesn't help. Okay, so Izzie is going to be defeated here. So take 1 direct damage. If I have 6 or fewer remaining sanity, I have 3 remaining sanity. Take a direct damage. That is 5 direct damage. That is 5 damage for Izzie, and so Izzie is defeated. She is defeated with... she's going to get a physical trauma out of this. All right. Let's see. Joe Diamond gets his weakness too, overzealous. Oh, what a bad round for this to happen on. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. Noxious Smoke. Test his 2 worst stats. Willpower or Evade 3. Take 1 damage for each point you fail by. All right. Well, I'll commit my Fedora, which has a Evade icon. So that is a... I'm even. That's a -4, which means I am a 0 versus 3. I take 1 point of damage for each point I fail by, which means I take 4 damage, which means Joe Diamond is also defeated by... Oh my goodness. That is unfortunate, isn't it? Well, but that is how Arkham goes sometimes. So, well, I am defeated. Let's see what happens here at the end. Let's see. If no resolution was reached, each investigator resigned or was defeated. You awaken at the edge of campus, eyes stinging from the smoke, and watch in stunned silence as Miskatonic University burns. Embers dance in the sky above the conflagration like burning stars. Too exhausted to help, you watch a cadre of students struggle in vain to stop the blaze. First the observatory, then the dorms, and finally the science building succumb to the flames. Amidst the clamor, you find Dr. Henry Armitage standing under a birch tree, watching Orne Library burn. The flames lick the bones of the stately building clean, leaving behind a skeletal ruin. The head librarian is clearly in shock. His face goes ashen as you explain the odd circumstances surrounding your friend's disappearance. Who was your burning nemesis, and what did the hooded figures patrolling the campus want? In your campaign log, record Miskatonic University burned. Each investigator suffers one mental trauma as they are racked with guilt for letting the university burn, in addition to the physical trauma they both take for being defeated. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X value of each card in the victory display, which I do not believe there are any. Let's see. Victory, 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 victory. Nope. No victory whatsoever. If I would have defeated this guy, I would have gotten 2 victory points. But each investigator earns 2 bonus experience as they reflect on the events of the night and proceed to scenario 2, Smoke and Mirrors. Well, that was gotta admit, that was a disappointing end to the first scenario. Both drawing their weakness on the same turn that knocked him out. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but it's Arkham. What are you going to do? So we'll see what happens in scenario 2 with these two, if we can get any further than this. But if you made it this far, as always, I do appreciate you watching. I will be back again soon with scenario 2 of Brethren of Ash, and our poor injured investigators will see what they can do this time around. But until then, I hope everybody has a great night.